What's up, y'all? My name is Ian Edwards, and welcome. Lee Hudson, stand-up comic, took a one-year sabbatical from the Premier League, Southampton fan, and he is back, baby. He is back, Southampton. Man.
Oh, what a day.
How you feeling, baby?
I'm good. First of all, we need to kick Alex off. This podcast is for people who won at Wembley this weekend.
I like the way you came in as a Premier League, team. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, this is for Wembley winners. You know what I'm saying? Wait a minute. There's one more game at Wembley next weekend. Isn't Man City? No, they're not, because Real Madrid. Oh yeah. So you're right. So
how could you forget? How could you forget, Ian?
My bad. I was so intoxicated with us beating Man City yesterday at Wembley in the FA Cup final, a game that we were supposed to lose, that I didn't even recognize. How was your? Hey, let's just introduce Alex. Hey, Alex, stand-up comic and Man City fan. How was your tainted league celebration today after the big loss yesterday?
Before I say anything, I just want to say play something for Lee. This is for Lee.
We can't hear it.
You hear it?
Nope.
No?
Nope. Can't hear anything.
What? Oh, I thought you guys can hear it.
No.
the song that I sent them, like that. After Southampton won, they were playing the "Free from Desire," and the whole stadium was just going crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my god, I wish that would have been like us, No.
Oh yeah, I heard that.
yeah. That was.
Who made that song popular? Like, was that like the Gerard Rangers? Because that's the first time I ever heard that song, when Rangers had the undefeated season and they went into the locker room, and that's the first. And then now everybody knows that song.
It came from there was, because I know there was a player who they used to sing it for. It wasn't them. It was there was a guy called Will Grigg, and yeah, he played for Northern Ireland, and the Northern Ireland fans used to sing it. But he played for Sunderland as well. I think their fans might have sung it. I can't remember where exactly. He was the first one that it sort of stuck with, and then it came around a lot from then. But yeah, it was a good time. It was a party.
Yeah, you look like you haven't recovered yet. I mean, I'm getting drunk and fumes from this Zoom based on your celebration, because yours was this morning. At least I had a day. I don't even
I can
drink,
smell it from here.
And Alex should just have a hangover from losing.
I can smell the liquor from both of you guys right now.
It's fine. I got a cup of tea now. It's all good.
Lee, also want to tell you, Lloyd said congratulations and thank you for the 6 points. So as soon as so he's attacking you. As soon as you came up, he's like, thanks for the 6. Congratulations. But yeah, in a sense,
we'll catch them off of them taking a beating from someone in the Champions League. They'll be tired, and we'll get them.
Yeah, you'll get them. But we kind of do have 3 winners on the podcast, because you guys won the league, Man City. So I give you that. And we beat you yesterday at Wembley for the FA Cup. And we have Lee, man. Welcome, man. You did the podcast for a year with your team being in the championship. This year, you back on, baby. So, man, even Alex was rooting for you yesterday.
The championship update segment can stop for at least 1 year.
Yeah. What championship? What's that? We have no idea what that is.
Yeah. My football club is relevant again.
Yeah, big game. Your players showed up, but I think we'll talk about the FA Cup.
Oh, you want to start with FA Cup? Great. Okay.
Yeah, of course, baby. Let's
okay. Well, Lee just won the most important game on football.
Yeah, but you just lost them. Yeah. He did. But before that, you warmed up the pitch by losing the one of the biggest games in Man City history. So let's just start there. I'll let you go first. I don't even know where to start, so I'll let you go first, Alex. Let's start the podcast like on the down part, and then just take it up from there with, me talking about how you meet yesterday, and then Lee. So we'll
You want to hear
start
my
with the
reactions, or
losers first.
how we lost, how we or my you want to hear my how I feeling, or what I saw on the
Both,
pitch?
both,
Both. I'm
because
feeling.
both ways is gonna entertain me.
Yeah, I'm feeling like a little still not yet, but like after the game, like I'm shocked because I've seen basically like form United having. I mean, they had been playing better, but like it was just no way. Like if this was actually like I feel like this was like the league game, like last week of the season, Cities would have won it. But I think like something about
like a smaller game, a game with no stakes, you would have won it because you guys are
maybe,
better at
but
that.
or maybe like even maybe even like being like that this game like if this is the game that we decide City win the league, it would have been like the players. I don't know what it was, but there was something from them playing a little slower, not really doing. Also, Pep. I feel like Pep set up the team really bad, and Ten Hag. I think like that was his best setup that he's ever done against City. He was just. I think like he was the perfect plan. He packed the middle. He's like, okay, I'm not gonna play forwards. I'm gonna play no forwards. Just basically pack him in the middle. I'm gonna man mark Foden, De Bruyne, that kid Mainoo. What a game! He was just following. I think he was all over De Bruyne. Like De Bruyne touched the ball. De Bruyne got subbed minute 54 because this kid was just not letting him do anything. And I feel like probably Kovacic shouldn't have played. I think like it was just too many people in the middle trying to do. It was just horrible setup from. I was watching. And I was like, Pep, why? Like I'm doing exactly what Pep is doing. I'm like, why did you do this? Like, why not put Doku since the beginning and just make him go chase Doku all game long? Like the moment he came in, like the team looked alive again. But at the beginning, it was just.
I just respond to the Doku thing. It wouldn't have mattered. Like, uh, just he was shut down all game. He got a goal, but it was off. Like, all right, I'm not gonna go down the left. I'm gonna go through the middle where Garnacho is. So he beat Garnacho. He did not beat Wan Bisaka. But Wan Bisaka is in the NFL. You watch the NFL, and they have shut
Yeah.
down corners. So as a wingback, he's a shut down corner. Like I remember when I can't remember when Deion Sanders when he switched to either when he played for San
Receiver.
Francisco or when he played for the Cowboys, and he just like he was so good that the other team would rather play double coverage on the other side than just attack him. And then sometimes when they were like, let's go at him one on one, he would just intercept the ball. So that's Wan Bisaka. Like you got Kyle Walker, we got Wan Bisaka. But go ahead. Doku didn't get anything.
Well, the ball that Haaland hit on the post, that was basically Doku crossing the ball, and there was so Doku creates something, right? Like he might be like you said, like at least gets people worry about like okay, he might take off, and Garnacho he was helping Wan Bissaka a little bit, kind of like okay, let's do like 2 against 1 against this guy. But Kovacic, I'm sorry, Guardiola, Guardiola is gonna go back. Guardiola is not gonna really cross the ball. No, too much. I don't know. I just feel like since the beginning, having Doku would have been probably more attacking instead of just a lot of control. And you don't want to control like we had the game control. I guess it was just going through the middle. It wasn't really what I wanted, and I feel like it was the perfect
Isn't
setup
that
from
what you
United.
do? Isn't that what you do? Is go down the middle, you go on the outside. You nothing affects City regardless. You guys still like we're not the first team to play compact against you, so it shouldn't be a problem. I just feel like when you have the level of
I think
players that we
yes.
have,
I think most teams they do that against City, but at least other teams, I think like they have like a striker, like normally they do it, but they have like a guy actually kind of like trying to be. I think like United has 6 midfielders instead of 5. Normally it's like 4, like 5 midfielders, and there's like a guy at least trying to put some running. Fernandez got a great. I think Fernandez did a fantastic job. I don't even know his rating or the praise he got after the game, but he was just putting pressure on like the defenders, kind of like trying to get the ball, and immediately he will tell everyone like, "Hey, go back, go back. You get this guy. I get this
yeah.
guy." And he was just so smart. I think like it's exactly what this guy gets a lot of criticism from fans and from other people, other neutrals, and we're like, man, Fernandez is really just like just I don't know. For sometimes I feel like people say he doesn't. He's like a crybaby, you know. He just kicks the ball away.
He does
I
that.
think yesterday he showed a lot of leadership, and he was one of the reasons I feel United for like a long time was able to be good under pressure. You know, they were like, no, we're a good setup, guys. Don't trip. Let him touch the ball. There was a sequence where Rodri went back to Kovacic 10 times in the middle of the pitch. They're just doing little passes, and I'm like, guys, do something else. They're just they're touching the ball, and Fernandez is telling the guys like, hey, let him do it. We don't care if they touch the ball 10 times here. You know, we don't care if City has 1,000 touches today. This is not what we're here for. And those balls
let me
that
tell you exactly how many touches you had. You guys had 667 passes and 1 goal. We had only 248 passes. You guys had 74% of the ball doing nothing with it, and we had 26% of the ball maximizing that 26% of the ball by scoring 2 goals. And we actually scored 3 goals, and you're lucky one of them got called back.
and during the transmission, I was watching the Spanish transmission, and then I keep swapping back and forth. But they were basically saying
It
like
didn't get
just
better.
like
It didn't get better either
yeah,
either
exactly.
way,
I,
right?
I
You
was I was
still
like
lost.
why am I watching Spanish? Maybe like in English we're gonna win it. Let me swap. Let me go back to like what it normally works. But they were saying like it's like United just kicking the ball long, and I was like no, they actually like yes, but I feel like that was part of the plan. They knew it's like okay, if we're gonna kick the ball, send it to Rashford, send it to Garnacho, and like there was like 2 times that Rashford could have gone 1-on-1, but because of Kyle Walker,
Kyle
he
Walker.
just but you know, like I think like any other team, basically like Rashford goes on 1-on-1, and the other side, Garnacho went in on a 1-on-1, and that created a goal. So it wasn't just kicking the ball; it was like a
Mhm.
smart clearing it. You know, it's like okay, we're clearing the ball with the purpose of giving like keep something to our attackers, and I just feel like perhaps for United, Ten Hag might be his last game, but they played great, you know.
All right. I mean, shoot, I wanted to praise my team, but you really praised them for me. Uh, you know, let's even before the game, like United has such a difficult season on the pitch and off the pitch in terms, especially in the media. Like for the day before the game, for a story to break like that in the Guardian, it's treacherous. It's almost a psychops. That's some CIA shit. Like the day before, like how long has this person been holding on to this to say, let's discombobulate the mentality of a team whose mentality is already shooken by putting it in the day before. So then now you have to face this story and Man City. And when you heard that story come out, how did you feel about your chances the next day?
Actually, I think like I reacted a little bit opposite. I was like, great. Like now I feel like the players might be a little motivated, or maybe this guy, knowing that he doesn't have a job anymore, or whatever, he might play to win it. Or I just feel like I would rather that the news don't come out because I think like that. Uh, City also this week, City just won the league and like they're going back and practice on Wednesday. They had like 2 days off. I think like even though Pep says that they've been training super good and everything's going great, they're already planning that today City had a parade. Like I'm like,
Yeah,
guys,
no.
why are we having a parade after the
Because
FA
because
Cup?
you're
Like
gonna
that's
try
just
to celebrate the FA Cup and the League Cup all together. Why not?
that's me. That's like those are like little things that City normally doesn't ever do. You know, normally City is like more. I don't know if the word respectful, but they're more tactical or more. They're like, it might
The
be
only way you wouldn't have the parade today is if you were in the
the Champions
finals
League.
of the Champions League, and you're not in that. So today is the day to have that parade. It's like it just makes sense. But I like how upset you are about the parade because now it's tainted. Like there's a few things United did yesterday. We tainted your parade because it's tough to go out on the last game of the season with a loss. This is the biggest international break in club football. You got a whole summer to sit on this L, fam. You know what I
Oh, you know
mean?
what? It was worse after the Champions League. That one sucked when we lost against Chelsea because he was just when Pep said we're never gonna replace Aguero, and like they're all crying and Aguero's leaving and players are leaving, and it was like wow, like so yeah, I mean I know what you mean. Like this is gonna be long months, but we've been there, losing the Champions League. So these ones, at least we get to face you in the. That's the only thing that I'm happy about. We're gonna play you in Community Shield. I don't want to play Arsenal in the Community Shield because those people have no shame. They won the Community Shield and they think like it's like the biggest accomplishment ever. It's like, guys, this is like a pity trophy that you're here because you lost the league, lost the FA Cup, and somehow you're celebrating a Community Shield. Have some shame. So at least we have some like
some real disgust you're
yes.
developing for Arsenal right there. Let me just go back to some of the things that United did yesterday. So we had to overcome the story, and we had to overcome the what you consider, at least, and a lot of other people consider the greatest Premier League team in Premier League history in a final. Our rivals, Derby rivals. So we had to ruin, like, take away that cup. What was it going to be, a triple double if you won this would have been your third league and FA Cup in a row. So I think we stopped that by winning this game. Also, yesterday we did a lot of damage yesterday with this win. I'm trying to. So we knocked Chelsea out of the Europa League. Let me just finish. Let me just finish, and then you add on to it. We knocked, I think, Chelsea out of the Europa League into the Conference League. Then we knocked Newcastle out of the Conference League to nothing. They have no Europe. So we did that damage. And yeah, and then what were you gonna say we did?
I think Rodri. I don't know like the specific number. It might still count for the Premier League, but Rodri had been undefeated for like 74 games, I think, or 73 games, and it's somewhat like people were thinking that he was gonna break the record during the Euro. It's like okay, if he wins 3 more games or doesn't lose, he breaks the record. So people were expecting like him to lose it against United, So
yeah, Rodri has been his own Bayern Leverkusen. And we just like Atalanta midweek ruined Bayer Leverkusen's undefeated. We did that for Rodri too. But just as far as the game, let me go back to this thing. Like, and Lee, if you want to jump in and say anything about our game, let me find this thing, and you could go off.
I sat and watched it. It was a way of taking my brain away from our impending game. And I've got to say, I was pleasantly surprised by how good you guys were, because I was the same as most people. I'd written it off as a foregone conclusion that City would take this one, and I think Ten Hag.
How dare you?
Yeah, well, like I said, I was pleasantly surprised in the end. Ten Hag really, I think, got the tactics spot on. He got the team selection spot on with the players that were available to him. Like you could see what a difference it makes when you had Martinez and Varane at the back, rather than some of the stopgap players or the players who clearly he didn't want to be playing there, that you've had over the season sometimes. And yeah, just those guys made a difference. I like the balance of the Amrabat and Mainoo sort of holding midfield, with McTominay just doing the running in front of them. Trying to support the attack. Fernandez as the false 9 dropping in and just linking the play, and then it looked good when you had those balls in behind with Garnacho and Rashford using their pace to sort of come in off the wings and chase the balls. So yeah, just tactically spot on from Ten Hag and soaked up a lot of pressure, which you always gonna have to do if you play City. There's no way you're not gonna have to sustain some punishment in a game against City, but you took it. You took it and asked for more. It was you guys were masochists. You were like, yeah, we'll take whatever you can throw at us. And just the way the goals came about as well. Obviously, Garnacho pressing hard and forcing a mistake, which I pin on Ortega. He shouldn't have been out that far.
Right.
He should have, like, what are you going to do when he came outside the box, but without a plan? You know, you either got to come and take everything or you stay. You don't just sort of come halfway like that or just not do anything all the way. But yeah, I mean, some of the moments on that second goal were just lovely to watch. The crossfield ball from Rashford, you know, I think he saw Southgate's face on that ball when he drilled that pass from one side of Wembley to the other, out to Garnacho. And just, you know, the ball inside from Garnacho was timed perfectly for Fernandes, and that little one-touch pass to Mainoo was world class. That was like, to see that. Like, they showed replays of him sort of constantly checking to see where Mainoo was in the build-up. And so, you know, that, you know, he didn't even need to think when it came to him. That was such just, you know, elite level execution to play that ball the only way he could that would allow Mainoo to just strike it first time. And yeah, that shows you just how good Fernandes is, which, you know, he still doesn't get credit for from some people, for being the level of player that he is. So yeah, just great performance. You know, Onana had a good game, bar the Doku goal as well. He was doing some big things. You know, showing more and more that he can be a player for you going forward. So yeah, I mean, you forgive him that one mistake, given that you won the game and you did make some big saves. So yeah, just to, you know, you guys rose to the occasion. What this means for Ten Hag, I don't know.
I know, right?
It certainly means he's, you know, if he does get shown the door, he's leaving with, you know, some reputation intact and should still be attractive to big clubs, kind of thing. Because, you know, I saw someone point out that since he's been at United, he's won more trophies than Klopp and Arteta in that time.
Right.
In the 2 seasons he's been there. You know, Klopp's won 1 trophy and Arteta's won 0 in that time. So, you know, yet, you know, Ten Hag is the failure, apparently. So, obviously, you know, there are big questions to be asked about the league form, but I think mitigating circumstances with injuries and whatnot, you know, can play, you know, be used to play a part in excusing that. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see where you guys go from here. But, you know, as a day out to enjoy beating, you know, your city rivals at Wembley, it's got to be up there.
Yeah, I was trying to activate this screen thing that does a bunch of shit, but it works at work, but it's not working on this Zoom. Like, I can make balloons come out. I can make the triangle from Led Zeppelin happen. I could shoot fire. I can make it rain, but none of that shit is happening. So thanks, Zoom, for not cooperating. This is the day we needed this shit to, like, rub this shit in Alex's face, but none of that is happening. I just want you to know, Alex, that you got beaten by a bunch of teenagers. You know what I'm saying? I just want you to always hold that. A bunch of teenagers took you guys to Wembley and owned you. And their names are Garnacho and Mainoo. And I'm looking at the player ratings for both teams. And we had the best player from Stockport on the pitch. You know, you had Foden and we had Mainoo. We have the true Iniesta of Stockport on the pitch. We also had the best Portuguese player on the pitch. You know, you had Rodri and no, Rodri's Spain, right? Is Rodri Spanish? Well,
Yeah,
you
just
had
talking about Bernardo.
Bernardo Silva. We had Bruno Fernandes. So, and then when I look at because we've been ravaged with injuries all season, like when the game started, I was like, wait a minute. Like, if some of these United players could actually start for Pep, you know what I mean? Like, if they were on City, they would play for City. And look at Alex's face. But once I saw the line, I was like, Delot could play for City. Whether you agree or not, Delot could play for City. He's our player of the season. I feel like Varane could play for City. Prime Varane could play for City. Uninjured Varane could play for City. Martinez could play for City. Mainoo could play for City. Bruno Fernandes could play for City. And I'm not going to name anybody else, but that's like, to have 5 or 6 players on a city level on a team, that's going to give you a chance. I'm not even mentioning Rashford because last year he could have played for City. He scored 30 goals. You know what I mean? But so I was like, wait a minute, we have a good chance. I also like how we set up, and I've been talking about this setup for weeks. Like when we lost to Crystal Palace, I said this is how we should play to practice for this game at Wembley in a few weeks because this is how we're going to play. I also was dying for Amrabat to start in the midfield because we need his legs, and I feel like we should sign him. Like, there's a lot of Man United platforms that I watch and they entertain me, and it's good therapy to watch them after a game, whether we lose or win. But a lot of them was like last week when Amrabat, even though we won last week, they're like Amrabat failed his audition for to play in the FA Cup final. It's like just because he did keep the ball too long a few times and did lose it, and it's like you need legs. You need exactly what Amrabat did this week, and you can't just be like judge a player who hasn't gotten enough time to like settle in the league. And he's been playing good up until last week. And I wouldn't have not selected him this week because of last week. So all those people were wrong because I wanted Amrabat in the midfield. And he helped us so much. I think he's still out at Wembley running. He might have had on a goddamn Southampton jersey today just because how much he likes to run. Like you do have a guy named Smallbone who who played for Southampton today that was bald. So we should check and see if that was Amrabat. And yeah, man, like Bruno, that pass, Rashford, that pass. I'm glad that I think he's been sitting on the sidelines watching how the kids play. And he's like, let me calm down. Let me not rush forward all the time and run into this cul-de-sac that I can't get out of and give up the ball. So he was calm. He also was good defensively. Garnacho was good defensively. We needed that. Like you said, we played compact. Just having Varane and Martinez, it's just quality in the back, not just defending, just to play out the back. You feel me? Like we look so comfortable. Like I said, we only had 270 or 87 passes, but that was, I feel like, mostly in the first half when we had to show composure and create the goals. And after we created the goals, like my biggest fear was like, what is going to happen in the second half? This team's going to be pissed. Man City's going to come out guns blazing, and you guys came out but you just couldn't break us down. And it's just like a lot of Man United platforms also last week was like, sell Wan Bisaka. I'm like, because he's not a modern day defender. Well, yesterday was a modern day game. And that defender or fullback, right back, saved our bacon. Like Doku is going to buy anybody else. You know what I mean? Anybody else is panicking. Like Wan Bissaka actually slide tackled him in the box. And that's Doku. He's been putting people in a dice cup and shaking them up all season. So you if you have a Wan Bissaka, you do not sell a Wan Bissaka. You keep him. So I'm just the lot. He's not even a left back, bro. He's a right back. He's over there doing his thing. And so I just want to just congratulate the whole team, congratulate and you know, Eric Ten Hag for just having to deal with just the media constantly. He won the game, and in the press conference, I didn't even hear one congratulation. It was like, so it's like, how do you feel about the news you heard before the game about you being fired? When is the last time you spoke to the Glazers or to Ineos? It's just like all, do you have a job? Questions. You know what I mean? I didn't hear like, how did you set up questions? How did you make what made you bring in this person as a sub question? None of that shit.
Did you see his response to Roy Keane though?
Oh, that was I like Roy Keane. Like Roy Keane, Roy Keane. No, but you saw Roy Keane blame the other guys. Did you see him do that? Did you see him blame the other guys? Say, yeah, not me. These other journalists been on you all season, and they had a good laugh. But what was the Roy Keane thing?
Ten Hag said to Roy Keane, he's like, "You had trouble managing a team."
Oh yeah.
Because Roy Keane's managerial career was a little bit up and down. So yeah, he just reminded him.
Yeah, Roy Keane was like, "Well, I got promoted at was it Sunderland?"
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw them joking, but that was lovely to me to see, like, because I want like the legend players to like Ten Hag. You know what I mean? I don't want, like, it's not fun when you see like the legends who created like your love for your team going on the team that is now. And I understand there's reasons why, but it's like watching your parents fight, you know? It's like watching your real parents fight with your adopted parents. Like telling them how to raise you. It's like, chill, guys, just get along. So that was that moment was needed between those two, and they laughed, and there was no animosity. Like, they both understand football, journalism, and life. So well handled by both of them. And another thing, there's one more thing. I don't know if I can remember it, but Alex, do you have anything else to say as second best? How's those silver medals, man?
You know what's actually old? I think like the players after, like, because I watched, I kind of like honestly kind of turned on the TV and then came back, and City was when I turned it back again, they were getting medals, but they were like no upset. It got me upset that they were not upset. Like there was like Haaland was laughing, Foden was laughing. Like, why are you guys laughing, bro? Like just lost, you know? Like it was. I don't know if it's the whole like we won too much or whatever, or but it was just like I did not see them like being mad. You know, they took their medal up, but they were still smiling, which I get it because you're like life goes on, right? I mean, you still move on, but I at least don't smile like that after we lost it. You know,
Bro, you won the treble last year.
I get it, but it's just we just lost against United, so just pretend that you're like mad
When
for
you're a
like the
Man
next five
City
minutes.
fan, get used to losing to Man United. Okay, this beating United thing is new. You're more used to it. It's losing to United is more in your DNA than beating United. But also, Onana. Onana faced the same treble team last year and lost in the Champions League. So for him to beat this team for a trophy this year, hats off to him, because he was Inter's player of the game last 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 season in the Champions League final. So he lost to you guys. You know what I mean? So he lost to you guys 1-0 and beat you guys by a goal this today. And then Mainoo, what can I say, man? Let's just show this young man some love, but also some protection. Give him his flowers, but y'all don't try to step on his flowers. Let him develop. Let him do his thing. I only regret is that Diallo, Ahmad, who's the reason why they were at the final in the first place, didn't get in the game. So I regret that. And everybody who was talking about Coventry, you want to talk about Coventry? What about Coventry? It's the FA Cup. It's the tournament of dreams. Teams do come back? So what? If you watch the Pokal final this weekend, Leverkusen faced a team from the second division. How the fuck did that team get there? That means it beat some people to get there. So what are you talking about, Coventry? Like we played Coventry after we beat Liverpool. Why are y'all focused on Coventry when we beat Coventry eventually? Coventry? Coventry? What about Coventry now? What about Coventry now? What about Coventry now?
That was a team also full of teenagers because you were talking about teenagers. That team was also a bunch of teenagers, and you won it. Like it don't give you that, but it's just somewhat like the little margins about football because that offside is so close from being offside. Just like yesterday, Alvarez and Haaland hit the Alvarez got a good chance that he completely missed, and Haaland hit the post, and sometimes it happens, So,
You're,
but
you're
yeah,
lucky Rashford's goal was offside. Speaking of offside. One
yeah.
more. Yeah, there was one more thing, but I think it slipped my mind. Oh, I did. There was one thing. One thing about the Coventry game was when we were up 2-0, and I was like, shit, we were up 3-0 against Coventry, and they came back. So I was like, and City is way better than Coventry, playing the same colors, and so this is by no means a foregone conclusion. I also I watched the game again today, but City's so good. I was afraid when I was watching the game today, that they would win it today, even though it had already been played. That's how much I worry about City. So I'll give you your props on that. But
I think
United,
the goal just came a little too late. Like I think like if City's goal comes a little bit earlier, like minute
yeah,
60, minute 70, but I think like when he came in, like I think like there was not a lot of belief that it was going to happen. With the players or with other play or even the fans were just kind of like, oof, it's not
you
enough
knew.
time. Yeah.
Y'all knew it. Y'all knew what time it was. Losing time. Losing time. So let's move on to more happiness. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
Ian, just last really quick last question because
Mhm.
I didn't know this could actually happen, but normally you win an FA Cup and the coach stays, right? But I guess in the past,
Oh yeah.
Bangal won the FA Cup and he was basically let go after winning it. You think he's also Dutch? You think Ten Hag is what do you feel? Is he gonna stay or are they gonna let him go?
I don't know if you remember me last week on the pod. I said I thought they was gonna let him go because they haven't come out and defended him. So I was like, they don't want to turn over the apple cart right before the game. So I felt like they were gonna fire him after the game. But now that he won the game, like they didn't even believe he could win the game, and those stories got leaked. You can't be talking to other managers. Like you can't replace Ten Hag with. And I like McKenna, and because I like McKenna, I don't want him to get the job now, because he wouldn't be able to handle that job. You know what I mean? No matter how much more infrastructure they add, this would be a bad move for McKenna. It's just too much too soon. He's let him coach some more.
What about
So
Pochettino or Xavi? Any of those names?
I would take Pochettino, and I would definitely take Xavi. I don't think Xavi would come to United,
Tuchel's the
but
biggest name link though, like the strongest
and
link that I've seen in
I,
terms of
I,
the
mhm.
the credibility of the rumor.
I would take Tuchel too. I would take Tuchel too.
Hmm.
If they're gonna get rid of him, I would take
Xavi
him.
Xavi has some connections with Omar Barrala because they're from Barca. They came up from Barcelona, so I don't
Oh,
see
okay.
it so
Yeah, yeah,
crazy being like, hey, job popping up.
yeah. All right. But then they might. City still has a lot of Barcelona connections, and if Pep bounces, then if Xavi just takes the year off, he just slides in behind Pep at City. So that's Xavi might be your guy. Uh, I don't want Ten Hag to go. I know he has injuries, but I am not like Ten Hag has made mistakes, and I always say that. Like he didn't play Ahmad yesterday. Fine, we won, but he hasn't played him all season. He didn't play Amrabat soon enough for me, and I feel like that's just a player that you bought for a reason and you needed him, and you didn't use him until last minute. Like we could have been getting results. Also, we've been injured all season. And I know you don't want to teach your players two different styles of play, but you got to realize sooner that the new style of play that you're trying to get into is not working with the amount of injuries you got. So you should have just decided sooner to like play the way we played last year. And I know you want to play more progressive football, but losing ain't progressive. Not if you're Man United, not like that. So and I also know it's a catch-22 because the youth system players are playing the way you want your pro team to play. So you're like you don't want to deviate. So you don't want to derail this whole thing. It's deeper than just the first team. But everybody would just have a conference and let everybody understand why you're switching, because this was the only way to beat City, and this was the only way to beat a lot of teams in the Premier League this year based on the injuries that we had. You got to be adaptive. But hats off to him. I hope he stays.
To you guys. What player do you want me to get your jersey?
Oh, so you're gonna get the jersey anyway?
Oh, that's right. You did not want to make the bet because you did not have any faith.
I got news for you, man. I got money. I'll buy my jersey. I got mad jerseys, bro. I'm gonna get more. You're lucky I didn't have to buy you another ugly City jersey because they cannot make jerseys for shit for City.
Oh, you're gonna love the next one for next season. You're gonna love it.
Love making fun of it, yeah.
No, they're bringing back
we've got. I was about to say we've got Puma next season.
They're bringing back like an old one, like it's like a yellow and blue. That's when I think they were in the 90s, and no one I like it, but the fan base is just like.
That's what you wore when you were in the playoff final in the third division.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's a classic kit in the history of City. But yeah, we've got Puma for next season as well. We've ditched Hummel, so I'm hoping Puma can make a good kit because I don't want to see us get relegated in it.
Puma used to make good kits, but I don't know what the hell they doing now. I loved Puma before, and Hummel, I don't know. I don't always love the Southampton jersey, even the one you won in today. I was like, it's hard to ruin a black jersey. How you doing that? How hard do you have to work to ruin a black jersey? So Lee, Southampton is now in the Premier League. How does it feel? You went to the game. Tell us about boots on the ground. How did you sleep the night before? Walk us through the whole thing.
I think I got about 4 hours sleep the night before, 5 hours sleep the night before. I was nervous all Saturday. I was nervous while I was watching your game, so I couldn't really sleep that well. I was up early. I was staying in London, and I saw that when our former podcast guest John Shin, aka Good Vibes John.
Oh yeah, John. What up, John?
He was in London for the game, and I didn't get to catch up with him, but he went to a cafe the day before the game, and then United won. He went to this traditional English breakfast cafe, and where I was staying in London was about 10 minutes from this cafe. So I was like, I'm gonna go get breakfast there. It worked for him. I was like, maybe there's something magical in this cafe. I went there. I had a good breakfast. There were some other Southampton fans in there as well, which was cool. And then set off the game a little bit later on. Met up with my brother. We had a drink and some pre-game chat. Saw some friends as well. And everyone was just super nervous though. It was a bit of a weird atmosphere before the game, but once we got in the stadium, everyone was super loud. Our fans really brought it because Leeds fans are loud as well. Leeds fans are lively, but we held our own in that respect. Just a crazy game because we started cagey. Leeds were pressing us. They were pinning us in the first 10, 15 minutes. We weren't really in their half at all. They were pinning us in, but they weren't really creating any big chances. And then all of a sudden we had a couple of spells of possession and we got in our rhythm because we're a team that wants the ball, and once we sort of settled down and we started passing the ball and moving it around, I was like, okay, we're settling into this game. And the goal was a great move. Flynn Downs, who we've had on loan from West Ham all season, is a fantastic player, fantastic CDM. I really hope he gets his chance in the Premier League because I think he said he wants to come to us permanently. He's got the nickname Fliniesta because he's just so calm on the ball, makes really intelligent passes. But he had the ball, played it into Will Smallbone, he's like a local guy. He was born about 10 minutes from where I live.
Oh shit!
a town called Basingstoke, which has produced 3 Premier League footballers. Because he played for us in the Premier League. It also produced Tom Cleverley, former Man United and Watford midfielder, and Dominic Solanke is from there as well. But it's 10 minutes like down the road from where I currently live. So he's a Hampshire guy, Will Smallbone. So he's been big for us this season, and he played the killer pass. Armstrong's been doing that all season though, just playing on the shoulder. He'll run in behind, and then he just finishes low across the keeper. That's like a trademark finish from him, you know. And it was fitting that it was him. That was his 24th goal of the season. You know, he's the king of the championship. In his last 2 championship seasons, he scored 52 goals. So before he joined us, when he was at Blackburn, and then obviously this season for us, combined 2 seasons. And you know, I think he'll probably be someone who admits that he struggled a little bit in the Premier League. But he was playing for managers under us in the Premier League who maybe didn't play to his strengths, whereas our current manager knows how to play to his strengths. So I'm really interested to see next season if he can finally like reach that Premier League level, attain that Premier League level. Like, I think going down a season was probably the best thing for his career in terms of rediscovering his confidence, his form.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, can he now, with the experiences he's had in the Premier League and now coming down and showing that he's too good for the Championship, can he then kick on and become, you know, a standout Premier League player kind of thing? So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens with him. Shea Adams, we're not sure if he played his last game. He came off the bench. He ran his ass off for us. He worked hard. He helped us close the game out. And he's out of contract now. Manager says he wants to keep him. There's rumours he might go to Wolves because he's a Midlands guy. He came through at Birmingham, so he might want to go back up closer to the family. I'm not sure. But yeah, the game was just nervous in that second half, like just because they added a bunch of time on because there was a clash of heads as well. They had already added like 8 minutes on. Then there was a clash of heads with Carl Walker-Peters and Dan James. They were down for ages. So the game ended up being like 102 minutes long. But we, you know, Dan James had the shot off the bar, which was a real like heart-stopping moment.
What was your reaction when you saw that? Were you like behind that or in front of that when the shot happened?
The shot off the bar.
James shot off.
That was the other end. That was where the Leeds fans were. We were in the other half. So yeah, the goal we scored was down in front of the Leeds fans, and then that one in the second half was down in front of their fans. But yeah, heart-stopping moment. Just as it came off the bar, I was like, I hope that wasn't anywhere near the goal line because there's VAR in this this final. Is
this England 1966 versus Germany?
Yeah, there's goal line technology. This is, you know, if that was over, they'll find out. But luckily it wasn't. And you know, shout out to Alex McCarthy, our goalkeeper as well, because he was third choice goalkeeper for a lot of the season. And it's only because of an injury to our first choice keeper that he came back in. Our manager decided that he had more experience than our second choice keeper, so he was going to be the guy for the playoffs. And yeah, he made a couple of big saves in this game. He came out for crosses and long throws and punched it or caught it, and just took the pressure off our defenders, which, you know, it's what you want your goalkeeper to do in those big moments. And yeah, he had a great game. Yeah, just the whole team just worked hard. You could sense they wanted to make the most of this moment. You know, the work rate was unbelievable. And then we had the moment of quality on the ball when it mattered. And yeah, just a crazy. It hasn't really sunk in yet that it was all real, because this whole season's been a real emotional roller coaster kind of thing. That we started the season really badly. Or no, we started with a couple of wins, but then we went through like a real bad spell. We had a 25 game unbeaten run, which included 22 league games, and everyone was like, all right, we're going to go up automatically. And then the form tailed off again. And yeah, last game of the season, though, we turned it around. We beat Leeds. We spoiled their potential promotion party, even though it was unlikely. And so we'd beaten Leeds twice in the league already this season. So it was like, you know, can we do it a third time? And that was, you know, maybe a psychological advantage. I don't know. But yeah, to beat them 3 times, because their fans were super cocky before the game. When I was like, a lot of our fans seemed quite humble. Like everyone was walking to the stadium quite nervous, and all the Leeds fans were quite obnoxious. So it's nice to. Yeah, it's nice to start singing our songs about them. Leeds are falling apart again to the tune of Joy Division, Love Will Tear Us Apart. So, yeah, it was good fun. But yeah, just a big day out. Like it was, one of the biggest games in the history of our club because if you get relegated, you don't want to stay down there too long. It's so easy to get stuck in that league because it's such a competitive league. It's such a horrible league. It's such a long 46 game season. There's some teams who've gone down, who've like West Brom and Norwich, who sort of made the playoffs this year, but they've been down there a little while. Hull were in the Premier League for a while, and they've found it hard to come back. And yeah, there's so many teams. Like it's like a Premier League graveyard down there. There's a lot of teams that have tasted Premier League football and then found it hard to get back. And Leeds, it'd be interesting to see what happens with them because we were sort of okay-ish financially after relegation because we sold players for big money. Like we sold Livramento to Newcastle, we sold Ward-Prowse to West Ham, we sold Teller to Leverkusen, we sold Lavia to Chelsea. We brought a lot of money in, whereas Leeds, any players they got rid of were mainly loans. They loaned their players out to bigger clubs. They're not getting transfer fees in. They owe a lot of money in transfer fees as well. So it'd be interesting to see how they do after this because they might need to sell some of their stars, and then it's like, can they afford to replace them with players that are equally as good with the financial restrictions? So it'd be interesting to see what happens to them if they can keep a lot of this team together. I think this league was such a hard league this season with Leicester storming it and Ipswich just coming out of nowhere being unreal. Leeds finished on 90 points and didn't go up. 9-0.
Yeah, you guys finished on like 87.
Yeah.
That's high.
Yeah, right? Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. So if Leeds can keep the majority of that team together, they'll be fine next season because I think the league is a little bit weaker next season than it was this year. So yeah, they could bounce back. But I'm glad it was a 1-year stay because it's fun. The championship, it's a long, hard season, but it is fun. I got to pay less for tickets. I got to watch us win more games than I have done in the last few years in the Premier League. But it comes at a cost. It's not that elite level. It's not the one that everyone's talking about, kind of thing. It's the sort of ones where your friends like you will go, oh, what's happening down there?
We were just tolerating you on the podcast. Lee's here. Let's act like we're happy to see him around. We was just pretending. Shit. I was like, yeah, he talks about the Premier League, so we'll just all right, just yeah. It's mad FOMO for a whole year.
Yeah, I get to select maybe some Southampton players in my fantasy team next season again. If we got anyone that I think I want to put in there. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see how our squad shapes up because I think the manager, he wants to be loyal to a lot of this group that have got promoted, and he's got a very specific way of playing, and those players have all spent a season learning that. So I think he'll try and keep as many of them together as possible. I think we do need some additions if we're going to be competitive. Because we've been wobbly at times in the championship, so the Premier League's a whole different level. So we need we need probably at least a couple, maybe more additions just to bolster us and bring us up to that level. But there's some good players, like I say, Flynn Downs. Hopefully he'll come from West Ham. He's been on loan all season. Taylor Harwood-Bellis is a player who we had a deal with Man City that if we got promoted. Yeah, if we got promoted, we had to sign him, which we will gladly do. But he's a weird one because he's won promotion 2 years in a row. He was Burnley. He was at Burnley last year under Company when they won the league, and then he thought maybe that was his chance to play Premier League football, and the City sent him straight back to the Championship again. And he's got out of it again. So he's someone who really deserves to play Premier League.
I'm happy for him because last Burnley did not wanted him to. The City asked if they wanted to buy him, and they're like, "No, we'll take him on loan again." Like, oh no, we'll send him to Southampton.
Now Burnley's down and he's up and he's guaranteed this time.
Yeah, we made the most of that Jason Wilcox connection while he was still with us. Obviously, he's going to be at Man United next season, but he was a former Man City academy director, and he was apparently quite key in that link and getting Howard Bellis to us because obviously he knew him from his City days.
And then Dosi, Labia, the goalie, Bunu.
Yeah. Edozie was great today as well. He came off the bench for us.
He got a chance, and I was rooting for him. I was like, oh, please put that in, and then I was like, oh, okay, this is why you're not play at City, man.
No, but he didn't. To be honest, he didn't have the angle on that. Like that was just a tough angle. The only thing he should have did was stop completely when he was just to let the defender back off a little bit more. Then he would have had like a bigger window. But I felt like it took him 2 to 3 touches to get into the game once he got in. But once he got in, he was good. There was some. I was really worried about Southampton when I saw Garnacho and Somerville because they were a threat in the Premier League. You know, so I was like, those guys, they're just little and just annoying, and they just wriggle around. And like you said, the Leeds did start faster, but once you guys got some possession, you settled down. Bednarek, I was like, who the fuck is that? That's not the guy I remember. Complete composure on the ball. I don't know if you hypnotized him or did something to him to get him to play the way he played today. Kyle Walker-Peters, just quintessential. Lloyd has its. Lloyd, the only reason why Lloyd didn't want you to get promoted so that they could, Aston Villa could buy Kyle Walker-Peters because he knew you guys couldn't afford to keep him if you didn't go up.
Well, he'd definitely be leaving. I mean, he might still leave us because I think he might, he might have offers from clubs who could offer more money and a better, overall package, European football or whatever than us. So there's still a chance they could get him, but they wouldn't get him as cheaply as they would if we stayed down.
Right. Aribo, like
that guy was so surprised. He was surprisingly like nice to watch because he looks, he's like lengthy, and I was like, he looked like
elegant. He was elegant on the ball.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know if elegant is the right word. I think he looked like a little at times. It was like he was. I don't know. It's like watching like a Rodri that is not really Rodri, because he had a nice touch, but just the way his body was positioned, like doing the pass or whatever. Like I don't know. Like I guess his form wasn't like super nice, but I was like, whoa, great pass, brother. Every pass that he was doing.
He's a quality player, Aribo, because he played in the Europa League final for Rangers against Frankfurt only a few years ago, and he didn't quite find his place in the team under previous managers, under Hasenhüttl and Jones and Sellers. But Russell Martin's really found a way to unlock him, and I'm pleased for him. I saw that guy playing in non-league football as a 17-year-old.
Oh shit!
Jarrah, I saw him playing for a team called Staines Town, down in, they would have been in the 7th division, I think, when I saw him. And he was just a college kid, like 17 years old. And then Charlton picked him up from Staines. And then he went from Charlton to Rangers, then to us. So I saw he was good when he was 17. I think he's like mid-20 or like sort of like 27 maybe. He's got a great 27. He's got a great song as well. We sing his name to the tune Gold by Spandau Ballet. It's a good one. But no, he's been sort of reborn under the new manager. He looks like he's enjoying his football for the first time since he's played for us, because he didn't look happy last year. So yeah, I mean, it's great to see because he's got ability. When we first signed him, we played a pre-season game against Villarreal, and Villarreal played all their good players, and he scored one goal where he danced through like 4 players and then finished. And I was like, okay, we got a player here. And then he just never quite lived up to that standard in that season in the Premier League. But obviously, he had 3 different managers who wanted to play slightly different ways, and he never quite found his place in the team, but he has this year.
The guy that came out to like for Edozie, was he like a better player than Edozie, or were you guys sad when he came out?
Brooks, yeah, I mean he's on loan from Bournemouth, and he's a quality player. He's a Premier League quality player. So he was big for us in the playoff semi-final game against West Brom. And yeah, I mean I wasn't sad to see Edozie come in though, because he's a quality player. He's only been sort of on the bench because he's coming back from an injury. And yeah, he was out for a while, which is why we got Brooks in on loan, because we had some injuries in that position. But yeah, when Edozie came in, like he worked. Like one of the things that's been leveled at him sometimes, he's a little bit lightweight, but he came in today and he worked. He did the physical work as well as the other stuff, and he's such an exciting player to watch 1v1, Edozie, because I've seen him destroy so many fullbacks this year,
Oh
where
shit.
because he's got the pace, but he's got the footwork as well. Like he can twist and turn and fake to go one way,
When
and
he was
then
a City, people compare him to Leroy Sané because like not only
yeah,
does he look a little like Leroy Sané, but he has that the pace and the one on
yeah,
one. So yeah, good player.
yeah. Yeah, he's really promising, and he's still only, I think, maybe 20 years old. And he played for us a little bit in the Premier League as well in the relegation season. So he's already had a little experience of Premier League football. And yeah, the season of the Championship, I think, has done him good as well. It's a shame he missed a chunk of it through injury, but he'll be involved next year for sure.
Yeah, I like what he did when he got out there. Uh, uh I'm glad you won just because of Brooks too. Like you said, he's on loan from Bournemouth, but
Hmm.
at Bournemouth he had a form of cancer. He had to beat that, and then he's not up there with not playing on Bournemouth now, and he got loaned out to you guys, so he got promoted. Hopefully, Bournemouth will play him, or he'll stay with you guys. But good for him. What did he do? Dislocate his shoulder today?
Something like that. Yeah, he took a big hit, and um, he tried to play on, but like it was clear that something wasn't
Yeah.
right.
It looked like
um,
he dived. Did people think he dived like
I'm not sure.
earlier?
And we didn't. It looked like he got hit. Like I thought it was like going in for a challenge. It looked like he landed awkwardly, but yeah, I wasn't quite sure.
They never
Obviously, from where
showed
I was
that
sitting.
challenge again. Uh,
Yeah.
it like when Leeds felt defeated. Leeds felt defeated once they subbed out Somerville and Garnacho, especially when they took out Somerville. That's when the Leeds fans, you show the Leeds fans are like, this is over. But then James, what's his name? James, ex-Man United player, Dan James was
Daniel
like,
James,
hey,
yeah.
don't sleep on
Mm.
me. This is now we're gonna show you we got a chance. And Dan James came in there and he
Yeah.
was Leeds' greatest threat. He hit your bar. He made McCarthy make that save. He clashed head with Walker
Mm.
Peters and still got up and just kept on. So I don't think the Leeds substitutions were bad. It's just that
Yeah.
like
Oh,
the
terrifying
better
player to
team.
come off the bench.
Yeah.
If you're a defender who's been working hard in that
Mm-hmm.
Wembley atmosphere, mentally and physically draining for
Mm-hmm.
70 minutes or whatever, and then Leeds bring Dan James on, one of the fastest players
Mm-hmm. The
in football.
the Kyle
Yeah.
Walkers are forwards.
Yeah, just you don't want to see that. If you're a
Yeah, you don't want to
defender,
see it.
you don't want to see him coming on. That's yeah,
And
horrible.
and something you didn't mention last week, Fark, right? So Fark,
Mm.
that's another person. He had me worried the most about Southampton because Fark is used to getting. He's brought two teams up to
Not
promotion,
not via
not
the
not
playoffs though.
not through the playoffs, but like he's
Yeah.
won. So I'm like, if he can win the league, he can
Mm.
win the playoffs. So that had me worried.
Mm.
And then I didn't know Martin played for Fark
Yeah, he got promoted
on
with him,
on
and
one of those
then
teams that got promoted. Yeah.
yeah, and then Farker released him. He told him he was done.
Oh, so yeah, so Martin's like, oh, you fucked me, I'm gonna fuck you. So,
Yeah.
hats off for the revenge, Martin.
He's
Yeah.
he's been very magnanimous when he's spoken about it in the past, though. Like he said, like it's it's football, it's business. He's going to have to do that to players as
Mm-hmm.
a manager himself. Like he said, he didn't hold any hard feelings, kind of thing. Like it was, he knew it was business. So, but I'm pretty sure some part
Yeah,
of him
yeah, sure.
enjoyed
Yeah, yeah,
it.
yeah. You got to enjoy
Also,
that when people.
have you seen the Dan James like injury post game?
No,
That's what his head looks like.
Oh, what
damn.
the hell?
Yeah, it looks like
It's a
he
pretty
just
messed up
fought.
one.
Looks like he just fought Usyk.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, Dan James is a hard worker, man. Like,
Mm.
and
I think
hats
United should
off
bring
to
him
him too.
back.
Who, United?
Yeah.
Normally I would think, what a crazy, insulting thing to say, but it's the type of player that United needs. You know what I mean? Like a runner.
Mm.
Normally you don't have a donkey playing the wing for you. You know, normally your donkey's in the midfield, but he runs, bro. He works. He's fast and he works his ass off. Also want to give a shout out to Bayern Leverkusen for pulling the double. They won the Pokal. They won the Pokal, which I guess is the German equivalent of their FA Cup. Would you all say that?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's the German Cup.
And they beat Kaiserslautern?
Yeah, Kaiserslautern from the second division.
From the second division, but they also had to win that game a man down. Luckily, they'd gone a goal up, so it wasn't like, and they had to also play midweek to Atalanta. Shout out to Atalanta for winning Europa League. And Atalanta, like, they trashed Liverpool and knocked Liverpool out of the Europa League. So, they won. They did what they got to do. And are we Tony Kroos? Hats off to you. Played his last Real Madrid game. Any goodbyes to any players?
He's Tony Kroos has still got one more. That was his last game at the Bernabeu.
Oh, last game at home. Yeah, he still got the. All right, so sorry, Tony Kroos, premature, but they did celebrate him at the Bernabeu. Yeah, but now it's your last Champions League game for Real Madrid. So hopefully, let's talk Champions League. Well, who you guys got, or who you got, and who you want? Like, it might be two different answers.
I'm being selfish here. I want Bellingham going into the Euros on a high. Or do I? Or do I want Bellingham to be feeling vengeful? I don't know. Whichever one motivates Bellingham more is the one I want. If they lose,
I feel like Bellingham will feel vengeful, win or lose.
But no, I think it'd be a good experience for him to get a big final under his belt and win it. That'd be pretty cool for him. And we'll have an English player on both teams. Sancho on the Dortmund team, but he's not in the Euro squad. So
right.
But I mean, Dortmund. It'd be fun to see them win it just as the underdog. But equally, it'd be nice to see Tony Kroos go out on a high. I don't know if this is it probably will be the last Champions League final we get to see Modric play, probably. Yeah. I don't know if he's got another one in him. Be some legendary players on the pitch. It'd be nice to see them go on a high. But I don't feel particularly any way about either team winning, kind of thing. Like overall, like I would just hope it's a great game of football. That's what I'm looking for, just like an elite level game of football that lives up to the occasion. Because there's some big players on that pitch, and obviously Real Madrid are going to be big favourites because they've been here so many times. So I'm interested to see what Dortmund come out with, what they can do. I think they're probably going to have to soak up a lot of pressure. But who knows? And they've always got that weapon, Real Madrid, as well. If it's tight late on, or if they're behind, they can throw Joselu off the bench, the ex-Stoke, ex-Newcastle guy, and he just he pops up with goals. So it'd be interesting to see at what point in the game they break the glass for the emergency option, because he's not a starter for them. But it'd be interesting if they bring him on. But who knows? Like Vinny Jr. could have destroyed them already by then. He's a player that just loves stepping up in these moments as well. If I do have a bet on this game, I might be putting it on Vinny Jr. to score, because he loves those big moments. And side note as well, I had a bet on the Southampton game. I didn't know what was going to happen.
How much did you bet against Southampton?
And not technically against. I had a premonition that the game was going to finish 1-1. And and then who knows what would happen after that in extra time. So I put a bet on, and I had a feeling Adam Armstrong would step up in the big game. So I put a bet on Adam Armstrong to either score or assist, and the game to finish 1-1. So obviously, as soon as Armstrong scored, I'm like, okay, half that bet is here. I've never been happier to lose a bet, because if Leeds had equalised, I would have got paid, but I would have been sad. So it would have been like a little silver lining. But I mean, I've never been happier to. Yeah, I mean, I don't care about that money. We're back in the Premier League. But no, yeah. If I was betting on this Real Madrid game, I'd be betting on them to win and Vinny Junior to score.
Again, congrats. Who do you think is going to win, or who do you want to win Champions League final next week, Alex?
I don't really care, to be honest. I just want as much suffering. I think Madrid's gonna win it, but I just want him to suffer. I just want him to go to PKs, go to peak. I don't know. Just like I don't want like a 6-0 or like Vinicius dancing like with Bellingham and stuff. Just make him suffer, go all the way to minute. I don't know. They might score. Yes, like typical Madrid game, like with like a header from Sergio Ramos. Somehow he makes it. He's not on the squad, but he might play the final and score in the last minute. I want that. I want him to suffer the whole game.
Such a sore loser, Alex. Jeez.
No, they're gonna win. Like they're gonna win. But I want them to. I want them to kind of like do exactly what happened at City. You know, I want Dortmund to park the bus, compacted, no chances created, and maybe they win it on PKs or they win it on some corner.
Normally I'd want the underdog to win, but I am a Real Madrid fan, and also I've already got my underdog fix with our win versus Man City at Wembley this weekend. So I don't need that. Plus, I like that we won something, Man United, and Sancho's like on the verge of winning something, and I like Sancho. I got a Sancho jersey,
I like Sancho
but
too.
I know he's like, look, I'm at Dortmund and we're in the final, and Man United's had a shitty season, and it's like, well, we won something, and our coach ain't completely wrong. He probably should have played you more, but you also should have played better. I like Yemi over there at Dortmund. I just like
Roy's
Dortmund's
last game, right?
Roy's last game. I like Dortmund's just lineage and shit, just like what they do. But it'd also be crazy for Jude to win his first Champions League against his old team, and then for two Dortmund like products to win the Champions League back to back. Haaland last year and Jude this year. So I think it's been a great run for Dortmund, but I'm gonna want and I'm gonna expect Real Madrid to win next weekend. But I definitely want a dope ass game, and I do want Sancho to play good. I want him to ball out. I want him to get to the stage and show what he can do. But I definitely expect Real Madrid to win this. And shout out to Kroos, shout out to Modric, and yeah, and shout out to the Real Madrid boys yesterday. Like, Rafa Varane, he's gone probably, but he is a winner. He came to United and won some shit, and Casemiro came to United and won some shit. So it wasn't always the best, but they're winners. There's something about them. Even when the shit is terrible, that you win some shit. So there's that. Anything else we should have covered or anything? I think
in the next 5 minutes, it's the Liga MX, Mexican League, the final. America is playing Cruz Azul. I'm an American fan. I'm gonna go to my parents' house and watch the game with them.
Shit.
So it's gonna suck if somehow, like on the same weekend, City loses and America loses, because it's just it never happens. I didn't.
Cruz Azul.
Yes, if you're watching, if anybody watches, just remember I said here, America's gonna win it today on overtime. It's gonna go to overtime because we like the drama. Like it's Mexicans like the drama. You guys see Mexicans like novelas, all the stuff. We're gonna go to. I know we're gonna go overtime, and something's gonna happen in overtime.
Are you guys doing it playoff style?
No, the Liga MX is like it's bad. Like the format's bad. There's 14 teams that qualify. 14 teams qualify to the playoffs, and they kind of like go against each other. And right now, America is playing Kroos You, Estadio Azteca. And today, whoever wins the league.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
I enjoy that game, man. You guys, anything you want to plug?
Just the socials.
No.
Lee Hudson Comedy. On Instagram and Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it. Hopefully anyone who's already followed me, I posted a few stories from the day today up on there. By the time this episode comes out, they'll probably be gone. But yeah, for anyone that's following me, you would have seen that. That was good fun. Thanks to everyone in the comments as well. People messaging me on both platforms, pre, during, and post game. So that was fun. Already had to suffer Martin's banter, trying to offer us Højbjerg back on behalf of Spurs.
Hilarious.
Martin communicating in the ways that only he knows. So.
Yeah, and follow me on Instagram at Ian Edwards Comic, on Twitter at Ian Edwards Comic. Where else? Threads at Ian Edwards Comic, and I'm gonna start posting show dates and more stand-up clips. And follow the Soccer Comic Rant
in
on
San Diego.
Instagram.
Is San Diego coming up?
Yeah, hold on, and follow the Soccer Comic Rant on Instagram too. And I got the La Jolla Comedy Store coming up August 9th to 11th. So yeah, for sure. I'll be headlining. I'm going to start posting the dates, and that's 1 weekend from so I'll be up there. But all right, guys, everybody, it's been a great season. We're going to continue also with Champions League next week. We can talk about that. And we got the Euros.
Yeah, 14th of June. That's not far away.
14th of June. Yeah. So we'll see what's up. Everybody take care of yourself. We love you. Thanks for listening. Thanks for the love. Spread the love. Tell people about the podcast. And Alex, thanks for pulling up, even though y'all got your ass beat by a bunch of teenagers. Lee, again, congratulations, man. Welcome back, man. So dope. So dope. Also, Speed. You know that. I guess why is Speed
YouTuber?
famous? Because
he screams.
But is he a streamer? Is he like a gamer, or like he's just a YouTuber?
He was a streamer that got into everything because he has a following,
He's not into every team. He's a United fan.
Well, he's also into every single team except. He's a United fan, but he wears every team anything that is relevant. He'll just
he trolls. He trolls.
Yeah.
He trolls. All right, but he was at the United. I know he's a Ronaldo fan, and then he does stuff that annoys people to get attention. But he was at the United game yesterday, and he was definitely cheering for us. And he was hanging out at the after party with Garnacho and it. So there's clips of that, but I think he's more United than anything. But definitely a troll and out for himself. But it's good to see him because he's played in some of those games that they have, those soccer games that they have, like in England.
Celebs.
Yeah, those celebrity games. Yeah. So, yeah. And they said Pep Guardiola set to leave Man City at the end of next season. So we'll see. We'll see. All right, everybody. Thank you. Go enjoy that game, Alex. Lee, get some sleep or do whatever the fuck you want to do. Good night, baby.
I'm going to the club. I'm going to the club now.
All right.
I'm
Party time, baby.
I'm going to bed. It's a bank holiday here tomorrow, so I get to just sleep in tomorrow, which is perfect.
Yeah, it's Memorial. We got a bank holiday too. It's a Memorial Day weekend. So yeah, we're gonna, we're all gonna enjoy this weekend. Cheers, respect, one love, y'all. Peace.